Hello. This lady is Apsana Begum. She is the Labour Party MP for Poplar and Limehouse, and that's a constituency in East London. Okay, and she was speaking up about the new illegal migration bill, which is Suella Braverman, our Home Secretary. It's her attempt to stop the flood of boats coming from France to the English coast and bearing with them apparently mostly Albanian young men who describe themselves as refugees, but which by and large are mostly economic migrants. All right, before I carry on talking about Miss Begum's speech, I'm going to tell you that I'm Granniopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. I'm also on Twitter, Gab and Parler, where I am at granniopteryx. It's there that I let you know when I've uploaded a new video. Please like this video, please share it, please subscribe if you're on YouTube, check you're still subscribed, and sharing is the best way of helping this channel. You can also help me financially, buy me a coffee, you'll see the bouncing mug there, but also there are a couple of other links in the description. All the links I've just spoken about are in the description. Right, let's talk about Miss Begum's speech. Hansard is the record of all debates and speeches made in the Houses of Parliament, and you can access them right back to the 18th century, something like that. So this is what Miss Begum says. Just when I think that I cannot be shocked any further by this government's inhumanity, they try to rush this abhorrent and unlawful bill through Parliament. Well, it's not unlawful if it's made law. Until then, it is a proposal, and it's still not unlawful. Apparently, she says here, human rights and legal organisations are calling this one of the most damaging bills introduced by a British government in living memory. It's not human rights and legal organisations, it is a legal organisation called the Public Law Project. That's all it is. So she's guilty of a little exaggeration, just like she's guilty of describing this bill as abhorrent and unlawful. That is because the illegal migration bill amounts to a refugee ban. Well, actually, no, it doesn't. It refers to boats, so far as I know, it refers to boats bringing illegal migrants into this country illegally. So even if they were all as pure as driven snow, the minute they got into those boats and sailed into British waters, they were criminals. I'm not saying that that's a reason to mistreat them, by the way, but it is a reason to try and control how many of them actually make it through that sort of a barrier. Let's see. So let us be clear. Somehow when a politician says, let us be clear, I feel suspicious. Persecuting refugees. Now, persecuting refugees, I don't see that Britain is persecuting refugees. And anti-migrant scaremongering. So what she's saying here, what's she doing? Is she saying refugees are not migrants? Well, yeah, plainly they are not. Refugees are refugees. Migrants are something else. And scaremongering? I don't think the government is scaremongering when the figures are so frightening all on their own. In my last video, the last video I made about this subject, I pointed out that in 2019 there was something like 300 illegal migrants, and by 2022, that's a year ago, there was something like 45,000 of them. That is quite a frightening figure, even if we're just talking about catfish. Okay, the cynical and dangerous use of scapegoating, I don't know where that came in, to divide people by an unpopular government. not as unpopular as a Labour Party is at the moment, who have overseen a horrifying death toll during the pandemic, no worse than anywhere else in Europe, and including the socialist places, and continue to inflict hardship and suffering across the UK. And this is really fantasy stuff. I mean, is she talking about the migrant bill or having a go at the Conservative Party with a lot of lies? I'm not saying that they're nice guys, the Conservative Party. I'm rather disillusioned with them personally, but I know that they are probably better than any Labour government would have been. Yeah, right, that damages our communities. We have already seen an alarming rise in violence and intimidation organised by the far right against refugees and refugee accommodation. I don't think we have, actually. We've had a few protests. I wouldn't call that an alarming rise in violence and intimidation. And indeed, as far as I've been able to work out, most of the intimidation comes from these bored and frustrated young men hanging around British towns that they don't know anything about and harassing the young women and girls who are now afraid to go out on their own. But that's another story. I want to get onto something else. You see, I want to talk about Miss Begum and her set of double standards. Why are migrants being forced into risking their lives in the first place? It is simple. For many, there are no safe routes to the UK. All right. So there are no... I mean, France isn't safe. And I don't understand that at all. And then she says, in 2022, half the men, women and children who crossed the channel in small boats. Right, it didn't seem... I have not seen... I'm sure there might be one or two. I have not seen one woman or child in all those boatloads of people. They've all been young men. That's the pictures I've seen. Unless they've all been doctored, there are no women and children, or so few, it's a vanishingly small statistic. Now the next bit, and this is the part where I want to ask, what question isn't she asking here? They were from Afghanistan, Eritrea, Iran, Sudan, or Syria. Let's look at the map, okay? I'm just going to show you a map of Afghanistan. Here's Afghanistan. Let's get this a bit smaller. There's Afghanistan. And no, it's got to go still smaller. There's Afghanistan and there's Britain. The people have gone from here to there. Where else did she say? Eritrea. Eritrea is somewhere around there. So people from Eritrea have gone from there to there. Let's see, where else? Iran, from there to there. And Sudan. Sudan is here. Oh, stop it. Sudan is here, from there to there. That's nearer than most of them. Or Syria. Well, Syria is there. Right? It's not even showing up on the map here. It's just... Oh dear. Just above Iraq. Okay, so you may well ask, and I'm a bit surprised that she doesn't. Given that this lady is obviously an observant Muslim, and given that the countries that she is talking about have people who are Muslims, Afghanistan, Iran, Syria, I don't know about Eritrea, some of them might be Christians, Sudan, Muslim. Okay? Why is she not thinking, why isn't she even considering the idea that these poor refugees, for instance, the ones in Afghanistan, why aren't they going to Pakistan for sanctuary? Or Iran? Or, well, you know, Turkmenistan's a nice place, as I understand, and has a Muslim, a Muslim population. Why aren't they considering going to Saudi Arabia? Or even Egypt? Libya's in a bit of a mess right now, but Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco. I mean, these are their co-religionists. These are people who would understand them. Why aren't they considering going to Indonesia or Malaysia, where there are also, some of them, quite religious Muslim populations? Why are these people trekking from all of these areas here to go to the United Kingdom? And why does she take it for granted that that's what they should be doing? This is, this is a perfectly serious question, which I would like to ask, and I doubt that she will answer it. Really, isn't she selling her co-religionists rather short in her assumption that these people would face death, disaster and terrible hardships on the way over that sort of a journey to get to a Christian country, rather than staying within their own Muslim orbit? What's she saying about what she thinks of her fellow Muslims, let alone what they think of their fellow Muslims? Well, it's sort of an important question, isn't it? All right, till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the granniopteryx design or Grambo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.granniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.